is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
I'm hanging on your every word. The love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound. 'Cause when you do, my feet won't touch the ground.
Good morning and good morning. How you doing? It is Thursday, and you're probably like, Thursday? Am I looking at the calendar? Am I looking at the time? What's going on? Usually, the Diamond Factor Experience show doesn't come on till like Friday or maybe Wednesday. Yes, I am getting you prepared because we are about to go in May 5 times out the week, not just 3 times, but 5 times out the week. So I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do a special show today. And I'm going to bring one of the Queen Diamonds that I'm just loving. And I can't wait for her to come up. But I wanted to come on today because I said, you know what? First of all, like I said, get people ready that they're going to be seeing the show 5 times out the week in May, starting in May. So tell everybody, please put the word out. We're going to be on for 5 times out the week. And I am so excited about it because we're going to bring you some more value, some more inspiration, some more motivation. And I'm doing a casting call. I'm going to put this out here now before I do my quote, because I got my quote for the day. I got to tell you a quote or a little something to get you started pumping up. But I'm putting a casting call because on Thursdays and some Fridays, when we start in May, I'm going to be interviewing authors and speakers. I'm looking for authors and speakers that wants to come on, get some exposure, tell a little bit about yourself, kind of if you have that book. Hey, I always tell people, always, when you can get exposure, when you can show your true genius and your gifts and show it out there to the world, do it. Come on the show. So I'm telling everybody, if you are interested, please, in the Facebook Messenger, just message me saying, Barbara, I am interested in being on the show as a speaker or author. If you know somebody that's a speaker or author, please bring them to me and we will get them shining like, I got to say it because it's the diamond thing, shining like a diamond. So before we bring on this wonderful queen to tell us about some interesting skills and techniques or tips or what the wisdom that she has regarding finances, because guess what? This month is financial literacy. I'm saying it wrong. Month. Okay, let's just say that financial awareness month. I'm gonna put it that way. I'm gonna own spin to it. So for a whole month of April, this is a time to kind of look at and see what your portfolio looks like. See what your portfolio looks like. We always tell people, you go to the doctor and do checkups to see how you're doing, see how your body's doing, your health and everything. Well, financially, you need to check that out too. We need to be doing that checkup, I think, every month to make sure, because you deal with your bills, you deal with you're buying stuff, or you're saving. Hopefully, you're saving, and you have to always do that check to make sure that you're okay, especially when you're getting older, like myself and some others. You need to make sure that you're okay. So when you do get up in age, that you have the fun, you have the savings there, so you can still live right. You don't have to be like trying to figure out, where's my next meal going to come? Where am I going to live? I mean, that's the kind of thing you shouldn't be stressed out about. That's like the least. But if you don't have your financial stuff in order, then things can happen, and we don't want that happening to you. We don't want that. So Mrs. Traci Brooks is going to be coming, and she's going to be talking some things today that could really help you just really look and own into that for you. But before that, I always had to do my little quotes or something. So I'm getting this, and again, Taking Responsibilities, Unleashing True Healing. This is a book I tell everybody, please get this book. I mean, there is some wonderful wisdom in his book. I mean, I've been reading every day, and I've been giving you some of the wisdom when I come on. So this is talking about making decisions. Make your decisions from a point of balance. During your childhood experience, you are taught to say yes is right and saying no is wrong. We already see where this is going. You want to avoid conflict and criticism, so you push yourself excessively, all demands, physically and mentally, possibly, before you say yes to any request. Remind yourself, have the ability to say no. I'm loving this. This is what creates boundaries. This is what creates boundaries. There is nothing wrong with rejecting the requests of others in order to take care of yourself first. Today, remind yourself that you have freedom of choice. Say either yes or no from a point of balance. Enjoy your day. So I love this, because this is really talking about boundaries. Nothing's wrong with saying no. People say no is a sentence. You can say no, especially if you have a lot of stuff going on, that you have projects going on, whatever that's happening in your life. And if you say yes to something else, you are not doing that person a justice of saying that. You're doing them a disjustice, because due to the fact that you might not be able to work on it wholeheartedly because you have other things going on. So remember, before you start saying, well, I want to say yes because I feel bad and I don't know what to say. No, you're doing better by saying no sometimes, because you might not be able to get to that. And then they're going to be looking for you to be 100% involved, and you might be 70% or 50%. And then that's not doing them any good. They could have got somebody else to do 100%. So you're not saying that you can't do it, but you have other things going on. Look at what's on your plate. You have to do self-care. You can't help anybody else in life if you're not taking care of yourself, and if you're not doing what you need to do and balance yourself out. So that's my little soapbox for today. And let's go. And this is where I say, let's start the show. Here we go. Wait a minute. How did this happen? get Traci up here so quick? Wait a minute, I gotta do you right. Wait a minute, lady, we gotta put you in video first. Let me do this. Before I bring up this queen, let's do this right. There we go. I was like, how did she get up there? I didn't add her yet. See, that's
morning.
She has her crown on already in the morning. How you doing, lady?
I'm blessed. I'm wonderful. Really good. How are you this morning, Barbara?
I am doing wonderful, and I get to see you, and I get to see you give us some good things. So I am excited for what you're going to bring this morning. And what I'm going to do is take myself down. You got like 30 minutes, so you got some time here for us. So.
Okay.
So
I will take my time with this. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, good morning, everyone. How are you on this wonderful day? This is an amazing day. And as we get up every day and we just bless our day, that is how your day will go, depending on how you look into your day. So I say this is a wonderful day. So with that said, I want to share a few tips with you today. So you might want to get your pen and paper out to take some notes. That's how we learn, right? So take a minute to do that. And again, my name is Traci Brooks, and we are here on the Diamond Factor. And thank you so much, Barbara, for allowing me to be on the show today. And this is Changing Lives with Traci Brooks. So I'd like to share a few tips with you that was life-changing to me. And I think it will be life-changing for some of you out there. Now, let's get right into it. Have you ever read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Now, this is a foundational book for anyone that's interested in finances and understanding how money works. And in his book, there are many books that Robert Kiyosaki has written. And one of them is called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And there he talks about 4 quadrants. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Now, remember in high school, I'll take you back for a second, when you were in geometry class and they showed you the quadrants. Remember those quadrants when you were in geometry? Well, think about that. And I know we had, I did send over a quadrant, but I'll go ahead and just share that. I'll just share the quadrants, okay? So number one, if you can visualize a quadrant, right? You have a quadrant on the right, on the left, on the right, and on the 2 on the bottom. Let's see, Barb, is there a way that we can put that on the screen from your end, or do I need to do that from my end? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just get right into it for those of you. If you can just think of a quadrant, write that on your paper. Now, on the upper left quadrant, put a letter E. On the lower left quadrant, put a letter S. On the upper right quadrant, put a letter B. And on the lower right quadrant, put a letter I. So you have E, S, B, and I. You got it? Okay. So the E stands for an employee. So keep in mind there are 4 ways to gain wealth or to be successful. And these 4 quadrants also represent 4 mindsets. And so with that said, there are, in these 4 ways to make money, it's called a cash flow. All right. And it shows you how these are 4 sources how money can come to you. So the E stands for employee, right? Most people are in an employee mindset because that's how they get their money. Now, have you ever heard this? Go to school, make so that you can get a good job, so that you can make money, have a pension, and live a wonderful life. Have you ever heard that? Just go to school, make good grades. I have. I'm sure about 95% of us have heard that. Go to school, make good grades so you can get a good job, right? So in the employee quadrant, they're looking for security, right? The employee is striving for security, of course. They're saying, I want a secure job where I can have great benefits, right? So where I can have colleagues that I like. So that is the focus for an employee. They want great benefits. Okay, now let's go down to the S quadrant. I'm going to break each one down for a second. The S quadrant on the bottom left is for the small business owner or the self-employed. This person wants control. There we go. Thank you, Barb. So in the S quadrant, the S quadrant on the bottom, this person wants control. They want to be compensated for their time, right? They want to be in charge. So these are your small business owners. And they say things like, I want to be compensated for my time and I want to be in charge, right? That's how they get paid. The one thing about that mindset, nothing is wrong with any of these. Okay, so let me just put that disclaimer out there. But for the small business owner or for the one that is self-employed, if you're not there to work it, then your money doesn't come in, right? That's the downside. As long as you're there, then your money can come in. Okay, now let's go over to the B, the big business owner. The big business owner strives for freedom, right? He strives for success by creating systems. Systems, I like to use this acronym, SYSTEM, save yourself time, energy, and money. System. Okay, so the person that is the large business owner, they say, I'm looking for people that are smarter than me that can help me build my business. Okay, so that is the thought for the large business owner. And then finally, you have the I, which is the investor. And the investor strives for freedom also. And he invests his money where he can have the highest return. So you have the employee, you have the self-employed or the small business owner, you have the large business owner, and then you have the investor. Now, here's the fun part. Let's look at each one of these. Now, how do you get from E and S to a B and I? It takes a minute. It takes a switch of the mindset. Well, what do you mean, Traci? What do you mean a switch of the mindset? Because when you're an employee or when you're a small business owner or self-employed, you get used to the money that you're making from that particular system. And it's almost like an addiction, right? And it's hard to break it. For example, you're working a particular job. Maybe you're getting, $700 every 2 weeks or $1,000 every 2 weeks. Well, you're used to that money coming in. You're just used to it. And so anything different than that kind of interrupts what you're used to getting and what you're used to doing, the habits that you're used to. All right. So when you are an E and an S, what happens is we never get used to doing something a little bit different. All right. So that's why here's the interesting part. The more money you make as an employee, then the more time you have to put in and the more work you have to do. I'll say that another way. The workload gets heavier and your time gets smaller. So that's why in an E or in an S, it's more difficult because you're in a particular way of thinking. You're in a particular way of doing. You're in a particular way of being. And so even if you're making more money, then you're getting paid more because the workload is getting more, or maybe you're not even getting paid more, but the workload is still increasing. And your time is also increasing. I've talked to so many people that will tell me, well, I don't have time. I'm working from 6 to 6 or 7 to 9. They're working 12-hour days and they still have kids. So the workload has increased, but they have no time to spend with their family and to do things that they want to do. So they feel stuck. Is there anyone out there that has that same feeling? You feel stuck, but you know you can't quit because you need the money that's been coming in, that you've been used to, right? You can identify, right? If you can, then put it in the chat. I'd like to hear from you. So we're talking about the different ways of thinking, the different ways that your cash flows. This is the cash flow quadrant. Now, the B and the I, I'm going to take a little bit more time with this one. The B for the large business owner and the I, which stands for the investor, they have learned two important things: other people's money and other people's time. As an acronym, it's OPT and OPM. You could write that down, OPT and OPM. Other people's time and other people's money. That's a game changer. Let me explain. So, people from the E and the S, guess what? They're working for the B and the I. So the business owner, the large business owner, they've hired in the employee rather, or the S, the people that are self-employed, or those that are small business owners, right? So they're using them to help the larger business owner. Okay, so they hire in people from the E and the S quadrant to work for them. So they're using other people's time and they're using other people's money. He invests a lot of his own money as well to kickstart it. But what is so interesting is they end up having the passive income. Why? Because they're using other people's time to create their business. And they're using other people's money to create their business. And guess what? They're building a system. They're building a system. So they may put in a lot of their time for a smaller period of time, but the rest of the time, it is other people's time and other people's money. In other words, they front load it to kickstart it, to start it first, maybe for a couple of years, but then it begins to take momentum and generates a tremendous amount of income. Does it make sense? So that is the B, and then the I, which is the investor. They do the same thing. However, they're investing in other businesses. So there are some pros and some cons for each one of these. So let me explain what I mean by that. Of course, for the E quadrant, the E, which is the employee, they have the paid vacations, right? They have insurance, health insurance. They have their colleagues. So, it is a way where the advantage, of course, of being an employee is that you're already locked into something that you're getting an income, you're getting your paid vacations, you have your sick leave, you have your health insurance. The disadvantage is you have more workload, you have less time, and sometimes for many people, your performance is higher than what you're getting paid for. Your performance is higher than your salary. Okay, if you identify with that, put that in the chat and tell me if you can identify with that. So for the S, For the small business owner or those that are self-employed, now the advantage, of course, is you're the boss. You're the boss, right? But the other side of that is you're working more hours right now. You're working more and you're working for less. And you have financial uncertainty, right? So for the small business owner and those that are self-employed, you're putting in a lot of time, but you may not see the income that you desire. So there's some pros and there's some cons. There's some advantages and there's some disadvantages to each of these. All right. So again, for the small business owner, the self-employed, the good thing is you're your own boss, but you may not be getting the money yet. And there's also financial uncertainty. Now let's go to the right side for the large business owner and for the investor. Let's look at some of the pros and cons for that, the advantages and the disadvantages. Well, for the large business owner, for the B, you have the OPT, right? Other people's time, and you have the OPM. You're using other people's money. You have a great tax advantage. In other words, you're paying less taxes. Absolutely. I found that there's two kinds of taxes. One is for the informed and one is for the uninformed. I'll say that again. One is for the informed and one is for the uninformed. Ouch. Yeah. So for the large business owners that are using OPT and OPM, they understand this. And so they have great tax advantages. Likewise, those that are investors, they use OPT, OPM, absolutely. And they pay less taxes. Taxes, believe it or not, are their friend. So the disadvantage is, they may lose some money. They may, but the gains are so much greater than the losses in time, right? And then the other side of some disadvantage for people that are in the B quadrant is they have to manage large groups of people. So you have to know how to organize that. You have to be a lot of that comes from learning. You have to learn how to manage people. And then the investor, again, the advantage is OPT, OPM. And then the disadvantage is, well, you may lose some money, but in the long run, you gain. And for both the B and the I, you have financial freedom. You have the time to spend with your family. You have financial freedom. So a lot of people say they want financial freedom. Well, start moving to the right side. Start moving to the B and the I. Well, you say, well, Traci, how do you do that? Well, number one, it starts with breaking the addiction. Just like sex and drugs can be an addiction, so can being on the left side. What do you mean? It could be an addiction where you're just used to the same old routine, the same old. The hardest person to work for is yourself because it requires a discipline. Now, you get up every morning at maybe 5 o'clock to get yourself together to go to work. Well, can you do that for yourself? There's a routine that it takes to be your own boss. There's a routine that it takes to be a large business owner as well as an investor. It's not different. It's the same. There is a tremendous discipline that it takes. So breaking the cycle, breaking that addiction. See, your brain is going to tell you that, you're addicted to that particular quadrant. You're used to the same thing. And like someone once said, if you do the same thing over and over, expecting different results, that is an exercise in futility, right? You don't want to go crazy thinking that something is going to be different if you're not doing anything different. If you want change, you've got to be willing to go through changes. All right. Someone say amen out there. Okay. But let me tell you, if you value degrees, right? I'm really big on degrees. That's that. But I just want you to hear me out. If you're big on degrees, if you value job security, if you value your paid vacations and getting a pension, and if you value all those things, if you're saying, oh, well, having a business is just too risky, I might fail, money doesn't just grow on trees, I just can't, I might lose it all. If you have a mindset of failure, let me share with you something. Can I tell you a secret? Let me tell you a secret. See, our school system, I've been an educator for 30 years, so I want to share this with you. Our school system doesn't really do a good job in, how can I say this in a way? Now, I'm just going to say it. They don't reward failure. They reward people that don't fail. If you make less mistakes, yay, you get an A. If you make a lot of mistakes, boo, you get an F. Well, guess what? When you are a large business owner and an investor, it's just the opposite. You make mistakes. That's how you learn. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. And in the long run, you'll be successful. Could this be why Thomas Edison failed 1,014 times? Yeah, he was finding out about how to make a light bulb. And he failed over 1,000 times. Now you might say, oh my gosh, but we have light. He never saw it as a failure. He saw it as 1,014 ways that it didn't work. How about that? So you can look at your failures not as an identity, but just as an event. It's like, oh, well, it didn't work that way. Let's try something else. In the business world, failure is a good thing. Just fail forward, as John Maxwell would say. Fail forward. That way, you're doing something. You fail by putting action to it. And failure is a good thing because you're learning as you go. We have to change our mindset. Failure is not a bad thing. Fail so that you can learn. It's not a mistake if you learn from it. So that is the mindset of the business world. That is a business mindset. If you can fail forward, in other words, if you can learn from that mistake and you fail as you do, then you're being successful. You're winning. You're winning every single day. So the more mistakes you make, the more you're learning not to make that particular mistake, and you tweak it and you do it again and again and again and again. So I want to leave you with this, that breaking the cycle of the employee mindset and the self-employed mindset, if you desire to move over to the large business owner that creates systems, or the investor, it's about changing the mindset. It's really going to be important that you read foundational books like Robert Kiyosaki, Think and Grow Rich. Oh my gosh, maybe next time I can give you a listing, but there's so many wonderful books out there from people that have already done it, which also brings me to my last point. And that is to surround yourself with people that have already been there, that have already done that. Surround yourself with mentors where you can ask questions. Maybe take them out to coffee, and never say to yourself, oh, why would they want to have coffee with me? Hey, the worst they can say is not now, and be okay with that. Put them on your schedule. Find mentors. Go on LinkedIn. Find people that have done that. So read. Leaders are readers. Not all readers. I'm telling you, not all readers may be leaders, but all leaders are readers. Does that make sense to you? I hope so. So those who take action, those are the ones that fail the most. Make the most mistakes. Yes, they do. But they win in the end because they've learned what not to do. You can't learn it all before you do it. You have to go ahead and do it and make the mistakes. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. I hope that was helpful. It's called, once again, the 4 cash quadrants. The 4 cash flow quadrants. So if you are looking at having passive income, if you're looking at eventually having financial freedom, there is a way to do it, and there's a way for you to break that cycle. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear from you. Barbara?
Wow and wow. You know what? She always shows up, gives the info, and just gives us that information that we need. Miss Traci Brooks, what? That's why I love you. That's why, we've been knowing each other for a while. I'm telling you, the diamonds are out there, the diamonds, and she is a queen diamond. Mindset, understanding. See, yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's all about that. I mean, when you think about it, everything that you do in life, you have to tell yourself, am I going to go left or I'm going to go right? And that's in anything, especially in your finances. You have to make sure that you're asking yourself, and I'm sorry because I feel like I got something in my eye. I'm just vulnerable like that. That you have to make sure that you are making those right decisions in your life. I always say when I go to the store, I'm like to myself, should I buy that? Do I really need that? And I ask myself that. I'm getting tissue now because it's really getting bad. I always ask myself that if I should buy it or not, and what in the long run is it going to do me any good? I mean, not saying that you can't buy things just to say, okay, I want this. I would enjoy this. I always tell people, don't stop yourself from being happy on certain, if you want to buy an item or something, but you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that you're not, okay, after you buy the item, now you don't know where the rent going to come, or you don't know, if you could get any food in the house for 2 weeks because now you bought this, this coat or car or whatever, and you didn't take the necessary steps to plan it out. See, that's the whole thing, is about planning, and it's about really saying, okay, is this really needed? Every time I buy a car, let me tell a funny story. I always when I go buy a car, I hate going to dealerships. I just that's just, I don't know. As soon as I walk in there, I'm like, here they come. The vultures, that's a room. You want to buy this? You want this? Oh, what do you want? I was like, okay, I just want to look. And as you look for 5 seconds, they're going to run up to you. There's going to be somebody running. And I was like, oh, here we go. That's why I'm glad now they got things now that you can buy cars online. You don't even deal with anybody. You can just get finance, whatever you got to do. And they even bring the car to you now. That's a new thing now. But going back to buying a car. So I always, look at it as, okay, this is an expense. This is a huge expense. First of all, what kind of car am I looking for? Is it, some people are like, oh, I want this car, and I want, this, 2000 whatever. And in my mind, what I look at, does it have, does it run right? Does it get enough gas that I can get to and from where I need to go? And does it have air conditioning? Because one thing I hate is being hot in the car. That's one thing I'm going to add to myself is say, I want some air. I want to make sure there's some air in there and some heat too in the wintertime. I'm basic stuff. But, a lot of people want, everything in there. And like I said, nothing wrong with that. But you have to make sure that you are managing your finances right. So when you do buy that car and they're telling you, oh, well, it's going to cost $600 some a month for this Rolls Royce or whatever like that, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I like that and everything, but my budget is like around $200-300 a month. I wasn't trying to do no 600. And see, a lot of people, sometimes people just look at how much it costs that month, your monthly payments towards the car. They don't look at the other things that come with it. I mean, a car, just like anything else, it needs maintenance, it needs work. You got to keep it up. You got to get oil changes. You got to get everything, all that stuff done. And sometimes certain cars are special. So if you get, say, a Rolls Royce, is using an example, just probably getting an oil change is going to cost $200 some for that. So now you're talking about that and other maintenance. So, just like Miss Queen said, like Traci said, have that mindset on when you're making those decisions, be it buying a car, buying a house, buying a coat, buying clothes, food, investing, whatever you're doing. You always want to make sure you have your plan in gear, and you always want to make sure you say to yourself, ask those questions. Ask those questions like, do I really need that right now? I don't think I need that right now. I need to save some money over here. So thank you, lady. And Traci, she's coming back every month. She comes on Fridays. This is a special week this week because I wanted to test something, because we're going to be coming on in May, as is. Everybody's been here. I'm going to say it out loud. Keep saying it. 5 days out the week is going to be the Diamond Factor Experience Show. So you will be seeing Traci next month in May. Can you believe it's going to be May in a little while? Oh my God. Where did the time go? I don't like that. That means another birthday going to come around quick. But yeah, can you believe we're going to be up in May in a minute? So yeah, so she will be back. So let me see. I'm going to say exactly what date here, so you can be put it on your calendar. May 7th. So on May 7th, Miss Traci is going to be back, give us some more information for us to move forward in finances. And I ask you that you just basically promote her, promote the show, reach out to Traci. I always tell people, I bring these experts on, I bring these guests on the show, not just to sit there so they can just talk for 25 minutes of all their genius and gifts. I mean, they're giving it away, free. They are, but they have a business. They're looking for clients, just like we all looking for clients. So if you resonate with Traci, and I can't believe you wouldn't resonate with her, because she's she's just awesome. She will help you, walk you through the finances for you and certain products that she has that she can help you with. So reach out to Traci, and moving forward, I'm going to make sure that every time you see somebody on this station, on this channel, that I'm going to put their contact information. I'm really pushing that because we have to help each other. We have to help each other. So just reach out to her, reach out to Traci. She's there for you to help. So with that, I just want to leave you again what I started with. Always, like I said, I leave something to make you think for the day or for the week. Now, this is Friday, so you have till Monday until we come back to think about this. Make your decisions from a point of balance. Now, see, this is good. Let's talk about finances. And I was basically saying that during your childhood experience, you are taught to say yes is right and saying no is wrong. Okay? You want to avoid conflict and criticism, so you push yourself excessive, all demands, physically and mentally, before you say yes to any request. Remind yourself you have the ability to say no. You have the ability to say no. There is nothing wrong with rejecting the requests of others in order to take care of yourself first. And I know some people might sit there and say, because I got those people out there already, I can just hear it in their head. It's in their head. well, you just think about yourself. It's all about you. No, you know what? It has to be about you sometime, because in order for you to help others in life, for you to be stable so you can help somebody else move forward, you have to take self-care. You have to take self-care. And sometimes that means saying no. And you're doing them a privilege more so than saying, well, she said no to me. I said no. You better be happy I did, because I got all this stuff going on right now. And I want to give you 100, and I always say 150% of my time. I want to give you 150% of me. I don't want to give you anything less than that. So I'm saying no now because I know I can't give you that much right this time. Not saying I'll never be able to do it, but at this particular time, for this particular project you have or whatever's going on, I might not be able to do it right now. And I'd rather for you to get somebody else that has that time and can put that 100% in and make sure that you know, whatever you're trying to do is getting done right. So today, remind yourself that you have freedom of choice, as we all do. Say either yes or no from a point of balance. And I tell everybody, as I always do, balance yourself out and know that your foundation, yes, I'm taking it home, is your PPD, as I always say, your purpose, your passion, and your drive in life. I always tell people that is your foundation, your true genius, your gifts. If you have that foundation and you know who you are and you love yourself, I don't care what comes your way, those hurricanes, those earthquakes in life, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, when you have that foundation in you right here, right deep inside, that gives that you know who you are. I know who Barbara is. I know what Barbara's mission is. I know I want to help others and put them out there and, give them exposure. And I know that I don't care what comes my way. I want to keep it stride. I want to keep it moving, because I want to make sure not only I'm just helping myself, but I'm helping others. And that's what it's all about. We need that more and more now than anything. So put your genius out, put your gifts, and say, hey, I am special. I am amazing. Say that to yourself. Do those affirmations. I always tell people are so important in life. And then that's what I call, after your PPD, that is your what? Diamond factor. And just let it shine for others. We will be back tomorrow. Like I said, this is going to be interesting. A whole week that I'm going to be doing. But we will definitely be back tomorrow. And I just want to tell everybody to just shine like their diamond and always give yourself some self-care. And remember that you were not put on this earth by accident, but you were put on this earth for a purpose. Thank you so much. We will get to our sponsor, and then we will see you tomorrow.